Jackie sent me a personal email and said this: I was born only 18 months after my brother Randy. From my first day in the world, he was my buddy. He was my closest and dearest friend. Recently, he found out that I no longer share his religious faith. He emailed me to tell me that I am his enemy now, and to let me know what awaits me in hell. He said, quote, "Wait until you scream until you're sure you can scream no longer, only to realize you just got started." Jackie says, I get a sense of him relishing the graphic horror of his conjured vision and rubbing his hand together in anticipation of my torment. However, the cruelty of his words is not the worst of it. He further told me he wants nothing more to do with me for the rest of his life. Our mother has a heart condition and is not in the best of health. She said she just wants the whole family to be together again, but he won't join us there, not even to give our mother that happiness. Some say let the religious alone with their silly beliefs. They're not really hurting anyone. Then why does this hurt so much? Randy calls me his enemy, but why do I still feel a love and a longing for a relationship?
So I lived in New York for 9 years as a practicing Mormon. And, I would go out to bars, I would try to meet guys, but I was also Mormon. And, because I didn't believe in sex before marriage, the longest relationship I was ever able to sustain was 4 weeks. And that's only because the guy was out of town for 2 of those weeks.
So as a Mormon in the dating world, you're not allowed doing anything in the ballpark of sex?
Nothing. You can kiss sitting up, which, if you're dating another Mormon, isn't really an issue.
Mm-hmm.
But then I fell in love with an atheist, and I really liked him, and he really liked me too. So, after a few weeks, eventually, the whole notion of sex became a bit of an issue.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, as a Mormon, I don't believe in sex before marriage. And he was like, well, as a guy, I don't believe in that. So we broke up. And I was devastated. I was so sad, and I really felt like I gave up the person that I felt like I was waiting my whole life for my religion. And then I kind of got angry too. Like, why would God make me do this? And so in this very angry place, I prayed and I said, God, you need to bring me the Mormon love of my life, and you need to do it right now.
So I wanted to call in. I'm in a relationship with in the closet atheist, and I am an atheist as well. She goes to church with her parents in order to kind of, make them happy and just kind of, because she lives under their roof, and if they were to find out, she would ultimately be kicked out.
How old is she?
She is 20, and I'm 21.
Okay.
Well, I don't want to touch any sensitive nerves here, but normally when someone walks away from the Mormon church, the families walk away from the apostate. Did you have any sort of familial consequences for leaving when you were 14?
Absolutely, I did. At 14, I left the church, and I had a special situation in that my parents were divorced, and my mother at this point had sort of become inactive, and I don't know if she was actively questioning. My father was still very devout, very active. His wife was very devout and active. All of their other children were. And so when I left the church, my father told me, who I had joint custody with, so I only stayed with him every few weekends and a little bit in the summer, he told me, I have a moral obligation to God to force you to go to church until you're 18. And I said, as a snarky 14-year-old, well, I'm pretty sure I'm at an age of consent if you really wanted to go through a court battle and talk to a judge. In essence, my dad kind of gave me a choice that at 14, was kind of an unfair choice. He basically said, you come to church with me as long as you live under my roof, or you don't ever come here anymore. And I had to choose at the time not to live there anymore. So I lived full-time with my mother, and I didn't speak to my father for many, many years. Now I'm 31. It's been, a lifetime, and my father and I are on very good terms. We're definitely on speaking terms, but there's always something there, as you might expect. And I think the best way to describe it, I think what it is more sadness, maybe a little bit of sorrow, deep empathy, in a way, I know that he feels deeply sorry for me because he truly believes in the Gospels of the LDS faith. So he truly believes that I am going to go to outer darkness, for example, that I'm not going to live with him in the celestial kingdom. And in a way, I feel bad for him because he lives in this bubble and that he's never had the opportunity to see the world outside of this kind of this religious veil.